to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia, and I am your host. On today's show, I am welcoming back Amanda from her family trip to Walt Disney World. She and her husband, Eddie, along with their daughters, Eloise and Elena, and Amanda's mom and dad, were traveling February 1st through 8th. They stayed at the Hilton Vacation Club Mystic Dunes, Orlando, where they had a 2-bedroom vacation villa. Amanda and her family had 4-day tickets, while Amanda's mom and dad had a single-day ticket. Their plans included 2 days at Magic Kingdom, 1 day at Animal Kingdom, and 1 day at Epcot. And they decided that based on Eloise and Elena's ages, they would just skip Hollywood Studios for this particular trip. That should have you all caught up. So with that, please welcome back Amanda. Welcome back, Amanda.
Hi, thank you.
I cannot believe that you are back already. It feels like it has not been that long ago since we talked, and did not even look at the date as to when we talked the first time. But it feels like you were just gone a hot second. But you had a nice long trip, so I don't know,
Yeah.
what is time? I say that all the time. What is time? Did it go by quickly for you this trip?
It was the perfect amount.
Mm-hmm.
It was like just enough where you were like, I feel like we did, as much as we can do, especially with the girls at their ages.
Mm-hmm.
And think like not that we were ready to come back home, but we didn't have that like, oh gosh, I just want to stay one more day.
That is good. All right, so let's talk through everything that happened. So you were traveling with your family of 4 and your mom and dad, and you were going to be staying in Hilton Vacation Club Mystic Dunes of Orlando, so that you had a condo style um, and 2 bedrooms.
Yes.
So I guess my first question is, in terms of your accommodations, how were the accommodations? Were they everything that you expected them to be, and would you stay there again?
Yes and yes. It was way better actually than I thought, which is always a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was, a 2-bedroom condo, so it had a full small kitchen, a
Mm-hmm.
stackable washer dryer, living room,
Mhm.
dining room, connected, a screened-in porch balcony,
Ooh,
which
I
was
love a screened-in porch.
I know. It was amazing. I was like, I mean, there was no mosquitoes this time of year really anyway, but
Right.
it
But if
was
you're
so
susceptible
safe
to
to
them, like,
Yes.
I don't know about you, but for me, if there is a mosquito anywhere in the vicinity, they are coming after me. And so I just love a screened-in porch because I love to be outside, but protected from those little critters.
Yes, and my husband and my girls are both, like, mosquito magnets, especially my husband. I They
Mm-hmm.
don't care about me,
Mm-hmm.
but it was great having that, and it was very safe. I was a
Mm-hmm.
little worried about balcony with toddlers, but because of the screen, obviously you can push on a screen and still, fall through. But the bars were like extra close together
Okay.
of the railing combined with the screen. So I had like no worries at all with the
Mm-hmm.
girls being out there, which was amazing.
Okay.
And yeah, the bedrooms were spacious enough.
Mm-hmm.
The bathrooms were great. It was a really great experience. And how close it was to the parks, it was
Mm-hmm.
really only a few miles, but Orlando traffic, and especially in that area, it was about
Right.
15 to 20 minutes depending on the park each way, but it
Okay.
didn't feel bad. Like once you got in the groove of it, you weren't like, oh, so long. I feel like when I ride the bus to
Yeah.
and from resorts in the Disney bubble, it also took about the same amount of time. So
Okay. Now, you were flying down from Richmond, Virginia on Sunday, February 1st. Was your flight on time? And also, I know you were renting 2 cars. So, what was it like picking up the rental cars? How did all that go at the airport?
yes. So we were really worried that we weren't going to leave on Sunday because we were getting more snow here that Saturday, like that Saturday turning
Mm-hmm.
into Sunday. So we were like asking our travel agent, like, can we leave on Saturday before the snow comes? It was just going to be way, way too expensive to
Mhm.
leave a day earlier. So we were like, well, just going to wait it out and see. But we were totally fine. It was, I think, maybe a few minutes delayed, but it wasn't anything crazy. So we got there in really good time. You know, they always say it's going to take like almost 2 hours, but it never ever does.
Yeah, they always build in that extra time.
Yeah, we sat like there, kind of like waiting for our gate to be available for them to like park the plane.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was so great. Terminal C, I now understand. I had heard your rave reviews, and last time I was at MCO, it was not there.
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Wow, this is amazing."
I know. It's
Um,
so good.
the only downfall I would say was we did wait a little bit for our luggage to come.
Mhm.
There was a Disney cast member there, with a family. I guess I don't really know what that kind of tour experience, whatever is called, like where they meet you at the airport.
Oh, it might have been the minivan service.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
maybe because I was like, "Wow, this seems very VIP," but, she was waiting at the luggage carousel with a family, and I overheard her say, "Yeah, you know, it's only International and JetBlue that come through this terminal, but I think that they maybe staff the baggage side, like, a little less, and maybe that's why it
Mm.
takes so like, a little longer."
Mhm.
But, it wasn't too bad. It's not like we waited an hour or anything. It just wasn't, like, immediately there.
Okay.
Um, but we got a little cart. They had a little, their little rental $7 cart to
Mhm.
carry our crazy amount of luggage, it felt like, over to the rental car pickup area. We were using Enterprise while my
Okay.
parents were using Budget. That was just, we decided that my parents were gonna have their own vehicle kind of, like, more last minute,
Mhm.
and so that was the cheapest at the time, was Budget, and ours had been booked earlier for Enterprise. So we did, like, a mobile check-in for both, but I I guess the Budget mobile check-in, like, sent a QR code via email,
Mhm.
and I didn't notice that, whereas the enterprise one, when you checked in, it, like, just popped up a QR code on your phone to say, like, "Go to the exit and show to the attendant and pick out your car." So
Mhm.
my parents actually waited in line even though I had done the quick check-in.
Uh-huh.
They waited quite a while. That whole side, I'm sure you've seen it. It's like it's like Enterprises by itself, and then every other rental car
Mhm.
provider is together. It's still separate lines, but I don't know. It was not very efficient, from what I saw, but they did get through, they
Mhm.
got through in an under 30 minutes, I would say, or around 30 minutes.
Okay.
Um, but we were in that also in different, uh, well, yes, obviously we were in different sections,
Right.
but we got outside. We had each brought our Easy Pass with us, which is the toll transponder here in our area,
Mhm.
because it is accepted by SunPass, and that way we didn't have to worry about even like checking out the SunPasses they have there in the airport.
Mhm.
Ours, it turned out, like, spoiler alert, our battery in ours was dead apparently. And
Oh.
so, although we had it and we're holding it up and whatnot, on the last day of the trip, I checked and was like, there's no tolls on here. And later, come to find out, yeah, apparently it had died. It was a very old unit, but we didn't realize till we had gone there. So,
Do you
anyhow,
do you have to swap out your Easy Pass transponder or literally, like, you can put a new battery in it?
no, you have to get a new transponder.
Okay.
You have to call them. They have to verify, like, that you really need one. And then they'll send it to you for free, but then you have to return the other one within 10 days in order not to be charged a $10 fee.
Okay.
Anyhow, my parents used theirs and it worked great. So it was nothing with Easy Pass and Sun Pass not matching up. It was simply
Mhm.
ours was dead.
Okay.
But yeah, so we just the getting the car was super easy. We walked out there, we talked to the attendant. He said, "Okay, you have a minivan booked. This aisle has all the minivans. The keys are in the car. Pick any one you want and like drive away." We were like, "Really? Okay." It seemed too easy. So my husband installed the car seats because we had brought our own car seats.
Mhm.
I did see the huge rack of car seats you can rent as well. So, it's a consideration for next time if it's worth like lugging our car seats both ways. It is free to check your car seat with an
Mhm.
airline, but it's just, kind of the hassle. Do you want it or not? I feel more comfortable having my own child's car seat, but that's just a personal preference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So while my husband like put the car seats in. I was loading up the luggage in the trunk, and the girls were exploring the new car. But then we were pretty quickly out. Some man came by, a worker, and grabbed the little cart we had rented for us and took it away because there was no like cart corral, so to speak, like at a grocery store. So I was like, I don't know what to do with this, but thankfully he came by and grabbed it. So
Mhm.
not sure what to tell folks if the guy doesn't come by what you do with the cart, but so we were on our way. Our first stop was going to be Sam's Club.
Mhm. Okay.
We our plan was to eat lunch there and to get a few boxes of like on the go snacks that we thought we would go through most of during the trip. So we got there. The cafe there was packed. Packed.
Mm.
I've never seen a Sam's Club cafe that popular. We eat at ours on like a weekly basis just when we go get groceries. My girls love the pizza and lemonade.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was incredible how many people were in line. They had mobile pickup or they had regular, like, wait in line order with a cashier, and both were just crazy. But we got our pizza and lemonade and sat there and ate, which was good because we were all pretty hungry. I can't remember what time exactly this was, but it was like
Mhm.
nearing the mid to late afternoon. So we were all like, oh, yeah, we really need to eat. We
Mhm.
grabbed a few things. We also picked up a sushi platter to eat for dinner that we wouldn't have to go back out. And my parents had gone to Target to do a pickup order we had there for like more grocery items that we didn't need bulk of.
Right.
Um, and then they actually went to the hotel to check in first. So after we left Sam's Club, we went by Starbucks through a drive-through Starbucks, and then we were on our way to the hotel. My parents did call as we were on the way. They were checking in at I guess we won't say hotel, the resort, and they said their name wasn't on the reservation, so they weren't going to allow them to check in. But thankfully, the customer service representative was really helpful and said if she can like FaceTime us and say that, you guys are with her, then we can get you guys checked in. So that's what we did. We just pulled over to a little parking lot and I FaceTimed them and was like, "Hi, I'm Amanda. Yes, they can check in." And then they were able to get right in. So that was a good just note that, if you're traveling with other adults who are
Mhm.
going to be staying at your resort, make sure their names are on there somewhere or else
Mhm.
you need to be the one. Um, so,
I know
oh,
that
sorry.
you were renting bed rails from a company, I think you had said Baby Quip. So,
Yes.
were those delivered to your resort already, or did you have to pick them up?
Yes, they were delivered to the resort. I think we chose like a later afternoon time frame for delivery. So when we got to the resort, after a little unpacking, I sent my husband down to the front desk to pick them up. The baby quip person was really great. So it's just individual providers who have their own items that they rent out through
Mm.
this site. So
Oh, so it's
yeah.
almost like I don't like an Airbnb, but for things.
Yes, exactly. Or like a tour. Toro for,
Toro, yeah, that
yes,
car
for
thing.
things.
Yes. Mhm. Okay.
So she had just been like texted me, well, I texted her and said, "Hey, are the bed rails being delivered soon?" She was like, "Oh, they're already there." And she sent me a picture of them
Mhm.
like sitting at the front desk. I was like, "Okay." So then my husband's name is Eddie. He calls me and was like, "They don't have them up here." And I'm like, "What?" It's like, she sent me a photo. I could see the Mystic Dunes like logo in the background of the photo. So I was like, "Yeah, they're there." He's like, "Well, the guy is saying that they took them down to the warehouse and you can't
What?
get them till tomorrow because it was a little after 5 by this point and the warehouse closes at 5." And I was like,
Wait,
"What?"
hold on, pause. What warehouse? The Mystic Dunes warehouse?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, "I'm sorry. Like, this is like a necessary, in my mind, it is certainly not as serious as like a mobility device, but it's sort of the same principle. You get something delivered that you're renting that you need
Mhm.
for your stay. Like if we had had like an ECV or something delivered, like you can't just say, 'Oh, it's in the warehouse, like get it
Right.
tomorrow.'" So I was like, "I oh, okay." So I'm like texting the baby quit provider being like, "Can you provide me with a timestamp of when you came?" So she
Mhm.
did. And I was like, "Did they say they were going to hold it for me?" And she was like, "They did." And I was like, "This can't be the first time, this is ever anyone's ever rented something at this resort." So thankfully my husband was great. He like asked another customer service rep down there and they were like, "Oh, let me go look again." Like in this room where I guess the other person had looked and they're like, "Oh, they're right here."
Oh my goodness.
So he called, he's like, "Oh, they found them." And I was like, "What?" And then he was like, "Well, it was in a different bag than him and the original customer service guy had been like thinking. Like based on the picture, they thought it was like a golf club looking bag and it was really
Mhm.
like a big keyboard kind of
Mm.
bag." And so I guess he had just missed it. I don't know
Okay.
where the warehouse thing gets involved. So, I don't know. Maybe call if you're planning to get there after 5 and have things delivered because maybe they will send it to this elusive warehouse that you can't access till the next day. But thankfully, he brought them back.
Okay.
We installed
Mhm.
them. I would say for anyone who is, renting bed rails at a resort like that, all the beds have those mattress toppers that are really thick. And so
Mhm.
the bed rails almost were not helpful. Almost.
Oh, okay.
Because the height of the rail and the height of the mattress almost matched
Mm.
because it's such a taller mattress than is typical for a child's
Right.
bed.
Yeah.
But it was still enough that they weren't just going to roll straight to the floor,
Right.
um, which
One
was the
one
goal.
hack I've seen people do before is they have ordered or stopped at like Target or whatever and picked up pool noodles and then cut
Oh,
those and then put those underneath the sheet so that
okay.
it's just something that the kid hits up. It's not like they can't
Yeah,
necessarily roll over it or push it, but you don't have it right at the edge of the mattress, but it kind of like just something where they'd be able to feel if they were,
yeah,
within 6 inches of the edge or something like that. So I don't know.
yeah. No, that's a great idea because definitely if can't or you forgot to rent them or
Right.
something, like that's a great hack to keep your kids from the floor.
All right. So once you got there to the resort and everybody was settled in and you knew you had your bed rails in hand, did you do anything else that evening?
We did not do anything else that night. We ate dinner there at the room. I
Mm-hmm.
think my parents may have gone out to get something to eat. I don't quite remember, but we got the girls like baths and in bed
Mm-hmm.
because we knew that the next day would be a park day.
Yes. And this was a Magic Kingdom day. And this was also your parents' only park day that they had scheduled.
Yes. So they were planning to come for this day only and then kind of do their
Other
own
things.
thing
Yeah.
other
Okay.
than joining us for a character meal on one of our off days. So we were excited to all be going together for the girls' first look at the castle.
Mhm.
We didn't push really any morning, but we didn't push any rope dropping on this trip. Our girls, one is an early riser and one is really not.
Mhm.
But even when they rise early, they like taking their time in the morning. They're like,
Mhm.
coffee and TV kind of kind of kids. They're not like jump up and like let's head
Okay.
out the door.
Can we just
So
clarify for listeners, because you have an almost 3.5-year-old and an almost 1.5-year-old. They're not drinking coffee, are they?
no, not truly
Okay.
coffee. They need like a good hour of like Daniel Tiger watching
Mhm.
and ideally eating their breakfast on the couch.
Okay.
And so we were just kind of getting into like what does that routine look like at the
Mhm.
resort, because the couch
Things
is
are
not our
different.
couch, and
Yeah.
we had thankfully there was like these stools that were sitting in front of the couch that were like vinyl
Mhm.
stools, so we were like, if you want to still eat breakfast at the couch you can sit on these stools because the couch is made of something that we can't wash. Like at home we have a couch cover.
Mhm.
um, so we kind of just did our slow start, also trying to pack all the park bags, and we
Mhm.
brought lunches for them in case they didn't like food while we were in the park and this and that. So we finally got out around 10,
Mhm.
and in my mind, I don't know, I said, oh, let's all put in directions for the TTC, which I still don't know if that is a thing, but as we're going to the TTC, like, quote, we're passing the Magic Kingdom entrance. The
Oh.
parking entrance, and we're all calling each other because we took separate cars, and we're like, I think we need to turn around. Yes, 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 yes. So we turned around. It only took 2 minutes to turn around, but we turned
Mhm.
around and then went in through the Magic Kingdom parking main entrance.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I will say the if you were driving in the Orlando area and you were not familiar with the roads, whenever you put in an address and you're going to somewhere on property, let yourself get to the general area and then just be really mindful of the street signs and just follow what it tells you to
follow the
do, because it's not
signs.
always exactly what your GPS will tell you to do.
Yes, and I'm so thankful. My husband is the best navigator and I am the driver, and so
Mhm.
he can like quickly be like he can actually like look at the map and tell me where to go versus I'm like, "No, it says turn right. Like we got to turn right."
Uh-huh.
So,
Meanwhile, you're driving into the Seven Seas Lagoon or something.
right, right. So this one we all kind of missed because I had said, "Oh, we're going to the TTC," so no one was looking for Magic Kingdom
Mhm.
parking. But yeah, like I said, it took us like just a quick U-turn. Then we were
Mhm.
into the Magic Kingdom parking lot, and then we were on the tram to get to the
Mhm.
monorail. We were at the monorail about 10:30.
Okay.
We waited maybe like one or two trains
Mhm.
of people. We got around that time. I think there was like a big cheer group. This is the cheer time of year at
Mhm.
Disney. But we saw a ton of cheer teams, but it wasn't ever like overwhelming.
Mhm.
But definitely like when they're all getting on transportation at the same time, it kind of you just know
It's
like
a
gonna
lot of
wait
people.
a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of very enthusiastic people.
Yes, I mean, you can't be mad because 'cause they're all just like, "Whoa!" Like, even the cast member was, like, trying to get them involved, and they started, like, cheering for him, and I was like, "Oh my
Uh-huh.
word," like, to be 16 again or whatever. Um, but yeah, so we got on the monorail. This day we were just figuring out each time, like, what is it
Mhm.
like with the double stroller to get on the tram, to get through
Mhm.
security, to get on the monorail. It was a little like crazy at first just because with the stroller you put everything on it or under it or whatever,
Mhm.
but then each time you're folding the stroller
Mhm.
for the tram, you have to have the kids get, if they can walk, get out of the stroller to walk through security. Um, but then on the monorail, you can push the stroller in, which was
Mhm.
great. We were like, oh, thank goodness. Um, but so, yeah, so we were in Magic Kingdom around 11 a.m. Um, the
And
girl
that's the exact time that you had your capture your moment scheduled for, right?
Okay, so we ended up rescheduling it, not that morning. Um,
Okay.
we because we were worried, there's a few reasons why. Because we were worried about the snow situation before we left, we
Mhm.
had started booking alternative days for that in case we didn't actually get into the parks until Tuesday. So we were worried that if we
Okay.
missed the flight on Sunday, we wouldn't be flying until Monday, not going to MK until Tuesday. So we
Mhm.
started like moving things around, but holding that. Then at some point, I realized the weather was going to be really cold this day,
Okay.
and the girls had little Minnie Mouse costumes to wear.
Mhm.
And I was just like, there's no way they're not going to be able to wear those and like not have a big coat on or something. And like, just that's just not how I imagined the pictures. And later in the week, it was going to warm up. So we
Okay.
knew we were going back to Magic Kingdom. So we ended up deciding just to move the Capture Your Moment into that other Magic Kingdom day.
Okay. Perfect. So, tell me about walking into Magic Kingdom on this first day.
So I told everyone, I was like, don't worry about going to the bathroom. Don't worry about finding something to eat. Like any needs you have, just hold them, please, for like 10 minutes as we walk through the gates so that you can soak in the girls' reaction. The girls' reaction was like, what is this? Like, this looks fun, but I'm overwhelmed by all of it.
Mhm.
Also, when you are like that height, being in the stroller, we kept crouching down to kind of see like what is their view. It was like all legs, like they
Ah,
couldn't hardly even see the castle
right.
because of when you first enter, that's where everybody is, and they were really just seeing like everyone's legs. So eventually we got them to a point they could see it, and you could tell they were like, wow, but still just really like taking in like, what is this place? Like,
Mhm.
we did one of the we had Memory Maker, so we did one of the photo pass stops that was right there at the beginning with
Mhm.
the Roy and Minnie, I think it is, statue.
Mhm.
Uh, and so that was good just to get like first picture in. And then we headed down Main Street again, like keeping like, wow, look at that. Eventually, I think they were like, oh, the castle. We're like, yeah, the castle. Isn't it amazing? Later, a few hours later, they were totally into it. But I would
Good.
say, low expectations for, that age,
Mhm.
having that like, wow, this is the most fantastic place ever during that first like 10 minutes. It's
Mhm.
may or may not happen. We did not have lightning lanes this day because originally we were going to do the capture your moment. We also just kind of wanted to take it slow, not wanting to rush from here to there.
Mhm.
Um, so we were just sort of looking on the app, like what has a low wait time that we can do. Eloise loves rides.
Mhm.
That's my 3-year-old, almost 3.5. She loves rides, and so she was like, I want to do a ride. I want to do a ride. So we found the carousel, had the shortest line. And so we all 6 of us got on together, which was so nice to, that's like the beauty of Disney is that you can do so many rides together, like all
Mhm.
of you. So Eloise rode a horse, Elena rode a horse, and then my mom rode a horse. And then the rest of us stood, and Eloise thought my mom riding the horse was just the funniest and best thing that had ever
Aw.
happened. And she kept being like, Nana, it's gonna be scary. She's like, "Are you having fun?" That was truly like one of the highlights of the trip for Eloise was Nana riding the carousel horse.
Aw.
Um, but after that, it was cold. Like
Mhm.
it was in the 40s there and 40s here in Richmond. I mean, it's cold, but I'm not like get me inside quick. But we also
Right.
had not packed like our parkas.
Mhm.
We had brought, I had brought a jean jacket. My husband had like a similar kind of jacket. We had like better stuff for the girls. They had on like sweatshirts, sweatpants,
Mhm.
and then like jacket or coat. But we were all still like, we need to go in somewhere to warm up. It was like complete
Mhm.
opposite of a summer trip where you're like, we need to go somewhere to cool down.
Yeah. Well, it's also like mentally, you expect to go there and for it to
Yeah.
be at least warm, if not hot. And so when it's cold, it's like mentally it just throws you off. You're like, this is not what Orlando is supposed to be like. But it is at this time of year, it's very hit and miss what kind of weather you're going to have. And I have definitely been there where I've needed to have my coat on and a hat. And
Yes.
it's not really what you expect. But if you're going anytime, I would say, from the end of December through beginning of March, let's say, you could get this kind of weather at any point in time.
Yeah, it was definitely like we knew it's very volatile. This time of year it's hot one day, cold one day, but it was
Mhm.
definitely colder. The wind was really
Yeah.
just like more than, we normally get here cuz we're not, as close to the water, I guess, but yeah, so we saw Magic, of course, had like not a big line. So we were like,
Mhm.
oh, good, indoors. We go in there. The girls enjoyed it. Elena, I think they were both a little taken aback, by some of like the air puffs and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But overall, they liked it. Eloise still was like, I want to go on another ride, but we were all starting to get a little hungry by this
Mhm.
point. So again, then we were like, where can we eat that definitely has indoor seating and
Mm.
enough for all of us? So we were like, oh, Columbia Harbor House was somewhere we had wanted to go when Eddie and I had gone on our like very delayed honeymoon.
Mhm.
But at the time, I was like newly pregnant, and I had said, oh, whatever I had decided I wanted there didn't sound good.
Mhm.
So we ended up not doing it, but we're like, oh, let's go there. I think they have seating,
Mhm.
and we can eat the food we had thought we would do, and you can mobile order. I love mobile ordering
Ugh,
at
me too.
Disney.
Me
I'm
too.
like, oh, when I see the other lines and stuff, I'm just like, no, please, someone use your app. But so we went over there. Finding a table was a challenge because we were
Mm.
there at like prime lunchtime. I don't have the exact time on here, but it was somewhere at that like 12:30 probably range.
Mhm.
It was cold, so everyone has the same idea, go somewhere
Right.
warm. So we like kind of split up to look upstairs versus downstairs for a table. We were kind of like, you watch to see if people are almost done eating.
Mhm.
Um, Thankfully, my mom found a big enough table for all of us and called us, and we were like, okay, we're coming. Then we went and picked up the food. Eddie and I had the lobster roll, which I thought was
Mhm.
amazing. Um, the girls ate some fries and some other things. My girls are not super adventurous eaters, but as long as there's fries, and then we always brought their lunch boxes with food that we were pretty confident they would eat.
Mhm.
Um, so that was great. We got warmed up, we got food in us, which also helps you, feel like you can withstand the cold. And then we went to do the Country Bears, the new Country Bears.
Fun. What did you think?
I loved it.
Mhm.
I don't fully remember all the we did go the last time we were there in 2022. I don't fully
Mhm.
remember all the songs and stuff, but I do remember there were some things that could use some updating.
Yes, to say the least. But, have a special place in many of our hearts just because, it's tradition to hear
Yes.
all of these crazy songs. But I love the new updates. I just think
I
it's so
loved
fun.
it. I love how they made it like, relevant to Disney movies and
Mhm.
yeah, it was really cute. The girls definitely liked it. Elena wanted to do it again.
Mhm.
Um and we considered doing it again, but then we were like we probably should, try to do at least something else because we also knew that they might be kind of getting close to hitting their limit. Even though we'd only been there a few hours, we were getting to that part of the day where normally like Elena would have a nap.
Right.
Um, so we're like, okay, if we can do like one more thing, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to do the Ariel ride? Because that's Eloise's favorite. One of her
Mhm.
favorite princesses is Ariel. So like, yeah. We're like, okay, the wait time's not too bad. I think it was like 35 minutes.
Mhm.
So we were walking over there and Elena falls asleep.
Oh,
And we're like,
yeah.
maybe we should just go back,
Take advantage of this nap right now while we can.
And
Yeah.
then, and I can't remember if Eloise had fallen asleep too. I'm not sure. But so we were like, well, maybe we should just go back. And then Eddie was like, no, I think Eloise is going to be really mad if she wakes up and we're not we're not about to get on Ariel's ride. And I was like, you're right, you're right. So we woke him up. Eddie held Elena. Eloise woke up like pretty
Mhm.
easy, and we waited in line. Elena slept through like the whole line.
Mhm.
She even slept through getting like, I think she woke up before we got on. She either woke up before we got on or while we were on. There was
Mhm.
another ride where she did the same thing, and I was like, "How is it possible you slept like through getting on the ride?" But um, they really enjoyed it. We did have a stop right in front of Ursula. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, "Oh, this is the worst possible, part to stop." But it was just a brief stop, probably like to load someone, with a mobility device or some or
Mhm.
mobility challenge. So, it wasn't that long, but we were like, "Okay, just don't look, if it's
Well,
scaring you."
when you're with a child who you are worried might be scared, I'm sure even 30 seconds would be like, "We're sitting here forever. What is happening?"
I know. I was like, "Oh my gosh, please don't let this be like an actual ride breakdown, like where we're gonna
Mhm.
be here for 30 minutes looking at Ursula spinning her,
Mhm.
crazy spell." But no, we were back. We were back up and going. And then we were like, "Okay." My mom and I were both like, let's get some coffee.
Mhm.
Like, what are we going to do? So we started heading up to the front. We were debating on whether or not we were going to stay for the parade. So there was like the afternoon Festival of Fantasy parade. And we
Mhm.
were like, I think we were about 30 to 45 minutes out from it starting.
Mhm.
So my mom and I went into the Starbucks there on Main Street. Eddie and my dad took the girls into the Emporium, and we waited a few minutes in the Starbucks. There's always a line
Mhm.
for coffee, but it wasn't too bad. I thought it was really efficient how they have someone like mid-line, like telling you which side to go. I guess
Mhm.
I don't remember that from last time, but I don't know that I actually drank that much coffee because I was pregnant.
Mhm.
So, it went by really quick. I was like, but telling my mom, I was like, we've got to cross the street if we want to meet back up with them before the parade starts, because we were like now minutes from the parade starting. So thankfully we got across the street. The
Mhm.
girls had picked out a little plush Mickey that said like most magical day ever or something. It
Aw.
was holding a little park map. And then my parents decided they were done. Like they were definitely going to go. And we're like, well, maybe we will too. No, maybe we'll stay. So we
Mhm.
start kind of heading towards the exit. And then we're like, no, we got to like the firehouse, like
Mhm.
bathroom area. And I was like, we were like, let's just stay. There was an easy spot there. So it was great. I'm so glad we did. The girls loved it. I don't remember exactly, I don't think we knew exactly who he was supposed to be, but there was one part that was sort of towards the end where it was like a stilt walker who came right up into Eloise and Elena's face, and he was dressed kind of scarily. And we were like, "Oh, like buddy, wrong person to come up to." But it was over and done, and it wasn't the last part of the parade. I just Googled it because I was like, I don't even know what that was. Apparently, it's a thorn representing Sleeping Beauty.
It's a thorn,
Yeah,
like on stilts.
the stilt walker is supposed to be a thorn. Anyhow, if you have toddlers,
Okay.
they're not gonna love the thorn if it gets in their face.
Okay.
So thankfully it was very quick, and like I said, it wasn't the end. So that's not how they remembered the parade. But
Mhm.
Disney, if you're listening, like, I don't know, maybe tell the Thorns not to get in toddlers' faces. Um, but anyway, after that, of course, we're like, oh, we keep saying like we need to leave, we need to leave, we need to leave, but then we're
Mhm.
like, Mickey's wait is not too long at the Town Square Theater, so let's go. And we were so glad we did because it was like our best family photo of the day. So
Oh.
we met Mickey, and I feel like it was also perfect for their first day ever in the Magic Kingdom is to make sure you see Mickey. So after that, we really did leave. My original intention for this day was that we would leave earlier and come back for the nighttime parade, but that did not happen because by the time we were leaving, it was like probably close to 4, and it was a lot, for the first day to take it
Mhm.
all in and to do all the things. So we went back to the resort, and I think we may have just made dinner there.
Well, that seems like a pretty successful first day, if you ask me, especially with 2 little ones that are,
Yes.
overwhelmed, overstimulated, and all of that all in one. So that brings us to Tuesday, February 3rd, which was a rest day, but you were going to be doing some Disney fun with a character meal and trying to get over to Art of Animation to see Cars, specifically because Eloise loves cars.
Yes.
So tell me about this day.
Yeah, so it was really good to have the rest day the next day. Again, we kind of took our time waking up, getting them going. We had brunch at Cape May Cafe for 11:25.
Hmm.
So we got over there I think around 10. Of course, we drove over there. No issues with parking, just had to show them the reservation.
Hmm.
We so we parked at Beach Club, and we apparently were like entered through the DVC side of the resort, so we sort of got to see a quick peek into there. But then we made it after like a lot of winding around to the main Beach Club area. We saw where Cape May Cafe was, so we could know where we needed to come back. And
Hmm.
then we headed out. We saw the beach. It was a little chilly still, but we had thought about, going to let the girls run in the sand. But we're like, well, let's go along the boardwalk and just see if there's anything else we want to see or do.
Hmm.
So we went all the way over to the other side. The girls ended up getting out and playing in that fake grassy patch between, like right behind the Surrey bike rental area.
Hmm.
They had some hula hoops and like some little blocks and stuff out. And the girls had fun just making like a game out of it. It wasn't much, but kids don't need a lot to
No,
have
they do not.
fun. So they played like kind of an obstacle course thing for a bit, and then we were looking at the time. We were like, wow, time flies. Like we need to start heading back. And thankfully it had started warming up too. So it was
Good.
like, oh, it's going to be like nice day. So we headed back, checked in like maybe 5 minutes early for Cape May Cafe. They showed us where to park the stroller. And then like literally as soon as we like stepped over there to park the stroller, they called us back saying our table was ready. So we're like, oh, awesome.
Good.
Um, so we got seated pretty quick, obviously, and then we met our server, and then he went to go get our drinks, and then we weren't really sure, like, it's a buffet, but I was like, "Do we just get up?" We've never been, to Cape May before. We've never done a character meal at all. So I was like,
Hmm.
"Do we just get up and go get our food? Like, do we wait?" It was taking kind of a bit for him to come back with the drinks. The girls were
Hmm.
getting pretty hungry, so I was like, "I don't know what to do." So I asked the table next to us. I was like, "Hey, like, do we need to wait, or like, is it gonna tell us?" I thought maybe it's like a wedding and they come by and say like, "Okay, now you
Your
can
turn.
go." Yeah. And they were like, "No, they don't tell you a lot. Just go ahead." And I was like, "Okay." So we did go ahead and just get up and get the girls something, and the characters immediately coming around. I mean, it was fantastic.
Hmm.
I've heard some mixed reviews about this character dying, especially, but I thought it was worth it completely. The servers were really awesome about making sure you saw everyone. they would come by and say, like, have you seen everybody? And if not, I think they would have made sure you get the chance.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
I thought the food was really good. It was breakfast food, but they had a few like things that were different, and my girls actually ate, so that was exciting. I wasn't sure how much they would eat. They kind of ate and then would be like starstruck when somebody came over. So it's Minnie, Daisy, Donald, and Goofy. And they loved all of them. Elena was a little slow to warm up to each of them, but then by the end, like by the last character we were seeing, she was into it. But one thing I thought was super special was all of a sudden, like, music came on, and it was sort of like a surfing dance party. And
Mhm.
so the character, whatever character was in your area when that came on, would stop and would dance with the kids and encourage the kids to get up from their seats and dance with them. And I thought it was just such a sweet little touch, especially my girls love to sing and dance. So
Yeah.
it was so fun to like, and we happened to get Minnie.
Uh-huh.
So it was so fun to sing, like, dance with Minnie and pretend to surf. So definitely worth the money. Like, it's an expensive meal, for bacon
Right.
and eggs, but I would have definitely missed out if we didn't do it.
Yeah. You have to go into it knowing that the amount you're paying is not for the food
Food.
necessarily.
Yes. Yes, and like I said, we all really enjoyed the food. I think we were also pretty hungry by this day because
Mhm.
we're like, you have a travel day, then your first park day, and then you're like, oh wow, we probably didn't eat as much as we meant to.
Mhm.
Um, but afterwards, we walked over to the store there and we picked up like a small souvenir. And then our plan was to get on the Skyliner. The girls were
Mhm.
super excited. For this age, this is a ride. Like,
Yeah.
they were so excited. A part I didn't think about that they were also really excited about was how every Skyliner has a different character on it.
Oh, yes. And you don't really
So
get to pick.
they loved seeing them, like, pass us while we
Okay.
were in the Skyliner, be like, "There was a Mirabelle one! There
Uh-huh.
was a Pooh one!" And I had no idea, like, thinking about it, that that would be the highlight for them.
Uh-huh.
So we went all the way to Art of Animation, hopped
Mhm.
off, figured out exactly where the Cars area was. That was really fun. I had little Cars dresses that I put them in so they could take their pictures in their Cars dresses.
Oh.
Lightning McQueen was in Ramon's shop getting a paint
Mhm.
job. So
Okay.
he wasn't available to take a photo with, which was a little bit of a bummer, but we still got photos with everybody else.
Uh-huh.
um, and I was amazed because even though Eddie and I stayed at Pop when we went for
Mhm.
our honeymoon, but for some reason we never ended up walking over there.
Mhm.
And we walked through there one day, but we never walked like around that resort, even though it's connected basically.
Mhm.
And the Cozy Cone pool, I mean, it was just so well done. I was just
Mm.
like, wow, I really feel like we're in the movie. And this is all for free, we're just walking around the
Yeah.
resort. So we enjoyed that. And then there was the Finding Nemo playground right in front of
Mhm.
the Finding Nemo pool. So we let the girls do that. I will say I'm a bit more of like a hyper vigilant watcher as far as like my kids in a public space. That playground is really tough to see
Mm.
them. Um, my parents came with us for this day, and they were still with us like for the Skyliner jaunt. So it was great. Like, they kind of sat on one side of the playground, and then Eddie and I kind of kept running around like the different
Mhm.
sides of the playground because the girls are like old enough they can climb up the steps and go down the slide themselves, but it
Mhm.
was like different sides of where the steps and the slides are. And
Yeah.
so yeah, just something to note, like if you were going by yourself with your two little kids, it might feel a
Mhm.
little nerve-wracking at times that you can't see them like at all times. But
Is there more than one entrance to the playground area?
so it's not a gated area, it's just
Okay.
like sitting in
It's
front
just
of the
out there.
pool.
Alright.
So yeah, so it's very open. Um
Okay.
which, like, it wasn't very busy and it was all families, but just for me, like, kind of paranoid about those situations. If I
Mhm.
was by myself with the girls, I would have had to go up and down the slides with them in order to feel like I had eyes on them.
Mhm.
Um, but super fun that it was there. First playground that we did. We went over to the shop there that's behind that pool to beg Eloise to go potty. She's
Mhm.
she's mostly potty trained, but still like a little bit of convincing is needed at times. So we promised a lollipop from the gift shop there if she would
Mhm.
go. So then we went in that gift shop, bought some lollipops, um, and headed back on the Skyliner to get back home.
What else did you do with this day after you got back to your resort? Because I did note that you wanted to go to bed early this night, but you didn't seem to have any other specific plans when we talked the first time.
Yes. So my girls fall asleep easily in the car. So on the ride back from beach club to our resort, they did indeed fall asleep, and my parents had told us that the Target that they had been to on check-in day is like a super Target. I've been in a super Target once, but it's been a long, 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 long time ago. And so I
Mhm.
I love Target. So I was so pumped. I was like, I want to go to Target. So my husband is so great. He will sit in the car with sleeping girls, no problem, like play on his
Mhm.
phone, and I can go in and go shopping. So that's what we did.
Mhm.
Um, we went in, it's like a literal full grocery store. Here, our Targets have, a lot of groceries. I buy a lot of groceries there, but
Mhm.
full deli, like fried chicken, full bakery where you can order birthday cake. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
it was like Walmart.
Mm.
So, and then they also have a huge souvenir section for Disney and some
Mhm.
Universal Park things too. But the one note is like, even though it's really cheap, comparatively to Disney parks, souvenirs, is it's not going to say Disney World. It all just
Mm.
says Florida. So
Ah.
it does have the Disney characters and it is like officially licensed merchandise, but it's just going to say Florida. So if you have something you just need to pick up, for your pet sitter or something, then I think, it's fine. It's going to be like
Mhm.
half the price for a magnet, but you're not going to have that sort of commemorative gear that you get from shopping
Mhm.
in the parks. But yeah, it was a great option to have there. Just to look around, it was fun to see like what they offer.
Mhm.
So yeah, so then we went back home and did get we ate in the room again. This was like sort of where we kind of cheap out is on dinners. That way
Mhm.
we can just eat in the room and also get the girls to bed kind of early. Eddie wanted me to note that the fried chicken of Target is not good.
Okay. Good to know. I'm not a frequent fried chicken eater, um, just because I'm weird and, like, if meat is on the bone, I don't know, I just don't wanna eat it. It reminds
I
me
get you.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not a vegetarian, but I could very easily become a vegetarian. Um, but I did grow up in the South, so I've eaten plenty of fried chicken in my lifetime, and, there's good fried chicken and there's not good fried chicken, and not good fried chicken makes you not wanna eat it for a while.
Yeah, he is a fried chicken connoisseur. Like
Mhm.
he's had every fried chicken. He loves fried chicken. He knows like different grocery store fried chicken and he was like, "No, this was not it was not in any kind of ranking." So, good to know you don't cuz I
Mhm.
bought it specifically thinking, "Oh, maybe one day our Target will become a super Target." But yeah, wasn't worth it. But anyway, that's just a thing to know if you're looking for fried chicken in the area.
Okay, so that brings us to Wednesday, February 4th, and this was your Animal Kingdom day. So before we get into your time in the park, just briefly, what did your parents do with their day since they weren't coming to the park with you?
Yes. So I want to say this was the day that they drove to Clearwater Beach to check
Oh,
that out.
nice. Beautiful.
And yeah, they really enjoyed it. They just, the beaches. We usually go to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, which is
Mhm.
wonderful, but it's different. Florida beaches are different and
Mhm.
they really enjoyed their time. And this was like the most beautiful day we had the whole trip. Like it wasn't
Mhm.
too hot, wasn't too cold. It was literally perfect. So it
Nice.
was a good day to do anything outside. So it was a great day that it was Animal Kingdom Day.
And what time did you end up getting there? Because when we originally spoke, you said you wanted to rope drop, but then you told me at the beginning of this conversation that you did not push it any day. So what did that mean for Animal Kingdom?
So we still really wanted to rope drop this day, but I think the girls didn't get to sleep quite when we had hoped.
Mhm.
And rope dropping Animal Kingdom is, of course, the earliest rope drop you can do. So we did
Mhm.
not rope drop.
Okay.
We did get up, I think, a little earlier, and we did end up booking a capture your moment for this day as well.
Oh, okay.
In the pre-trip, we hadn't had it booked, but we started thinking
Mhm.
about it, and our pregnancy announcement photos were from a capture your moment at Animal
Mhm.
Kingdom, and we were like, "Oh, how cute would it
Oh,
be
yeah.
to do like the before and after kind of thing?" So we were like, "Oh, let's just do it." So in our heads, especially in my head, it was booked at 11:30.
Okay, what
Well,
was it really booked for?
10:30.
Ooh, okay.
And so neither of us like checked the calendar. It's very unlike both of us to just
Mhm.
be like, yeah, it's what's in our heads. So here we were, kind of rolling up, taking our good sweet time. And then we happened to look like as we're either like on the tram or like walking into the park, and we notice it's at 10:30 and it's like 10 after 10.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, "Oh boy, like
Ooh,
we
okay.
gotta book it." But we were also like, "You know what? Thank you, God. This was a kindness because we would have been panicking, like
Mhm.
getting there at that time if we had realized like we're running late. And if you're running late with toddlers, like it really doesn't make a difference because they don't understand running
Yeah.
late. So we got there like right on time. The cast member was like, "Oh, you made it!" And I was like, "Yes, we did." So we had really two really awesome people who worked with us, Gustavo and Hami.
Mhm.
Gustavo was the primary photographer, and Hami was sort of like the security guard. they the second photographer they bring to kind of help people know that this is like a private session and help
Uh-huh.
people pass and everything. They were so awesome. They were just really fun and great with the girls, and the girls were a little slow to warm up, especially Elena, but they eventually got into it. Eloise started striking like power poses and
Oh, cute. And you did this in front of the tree?
so he Gustavo had some ideas for doing Tiger Trail.
Uh-huh.
And we were like, whatever, you know best. Like, we're
Mhm.
not, if we get some by the tree, that's cool. But our pregnancy announcement photos, like, you couldn't always really tell that we were at Animal Kingdom. We just looked like we're at a really nice looking background.
Mhm.
Um, so we were like, whatever you want to do. And I'm so glad, like, we kind of followed his lead because I think, yeah, just the beautiful sort of jungle background, I think, ended up being better than necessarily like just by the tree.
Mhm.
We did get one by the tree on the back side, which
The
was
backside is the place to get your photo taken because there's
yeah.
not anybody standing there blocking your way or anything. It's yeah.
And I don't know, never crossed my mind. They took us like to the backside, and there's like a few tables and chairs over there,
Mhm.
and it was really like they very kindly, like someone was sitting there and they said, "Do you mind just scooting over a bit so we can take these pit photos?" And
Mhm.
you know, in the Disney kind way.
Mhm.
Um and so yeah, they were really awesome. That was definitely our favorite photo shoot. And we did like a before and after. So our sign, we held a sign the first time that said like expecting our next adventure, and another time it said little cub on the way, and then
Mhm.
they made us a sign this time that said the cub's first visit.
Oh,
um so it was, yeah, it was so sweet.
that is so sweet. Oh my god. I'm such a mush just an emotional wreck basically. Like that's all you had to say and I'm just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it was amazing. And we're, this is our two and we're through, so it was
Yeah.
kind of sweet to have the before and after.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
afterwards, Eloise is like, I want to ride. I want to ride a ride.
Uh-huh.
So we're like, well, let's go do Zootopia.
Mhm.
In my mind, there was other things like for little kids to do, but
Yeah.
I realized there's really not like
Right.
a
Now
lot of
that
rides.
Dino Land is closed, there used to
Yes.
be a couple more things that they could do over there that there just aren't anymore.
Yeah, so that was, like, just something maybe I would have prepped my girls a little. I should have done a little more research and, like, thought it through more. Thankfully, they didn't care, like, they
Mhm.
loved the zoo day, basically,
Mhm.
but we tried to do Zootopia. Of course, it was just, short. It was a short wait. Elena got really freaked out,
Mm.
because in the first scene, they're puffing the air,
Uh-huh.
and she had already done PhilharMagic with the puffing of the air, and she was, like, not about it.
Mhm.
So, thankfully, we were on the end, so it was really easy for me just to get up and take her. Eloise and Eddie stayed for a few more minutes, but then Eloise was like, "I wanna go find mommy," so they ended up just leaving too.
Mhm.
But when we went to find our stroller, there was Doug and Russell.
Fun.
My girls love characters and they love dogs.
Mhm.
So they were excited. They haven't seen the movie, but they were
Oh,
just
okay.
excited to meet a dog
Yeah.
and a little kid. So we did that, and then we were gonna get lunch. Eddie and I were interested in Satuli Canteen, but we didn't see anything on the menu for the girls, so we
Mhm.
decided just to grab some fries at Flame Tree Barbecue, and they could eat that with their lunchbox food, and then we would head over
Mhm.
to get lunch over there. So that is what we did. I think at some point in that time we saw Kevin from Up.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. I could have just stood there and looked at Kevin forever. It was such a cool way they have him like walking around.
Yeah.
Um, Eddie had the blue noodle bowl at Satuli Canteen, and I had the cheeseburger bao buns. Unpopular opinion, I did not like them. um,
Mm.
I did not like them at all, really. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't eat them, but I was like,
Right.
I would not order again.
I'm not a
Um,
bao bun person. I don't know.
I am, but the flavors didn't the fusion wasn't there for
Mm.
me.
Okay.
Um Eddie did like his noodle bowl though, and
Mhm.
we ate inside, and that was nice too. Just it's so neatly designed in there, and we hadn't eaten in there before.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, after that, we thought about doing the Lion King show, but the safari. Originally, we were going to rope drop to ride the safari, so we were
Mhm.
kept looking at safari wait times because I know they can get pretty high. But I think it had dropped to like 45 minutes, and we were like, the girls are doing well. We just ate. Like, I think we can get by with like
Mhm.
activities we have in our backpack to wait 45 minutes.
Mhm.
And the line went by really quick. I don't even think we waited the full 45 minutes, because we were just like walking the whole time. We were barely ever stood still.
Mhm.
Um, Elena had fallen asleep in
Of
line,
course.
and she slept through like the first half of the safari. I was shocked. I thought, the
Wow.
bump, 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 and the noise of the truck
Yeah.
and whatever.
It's not a smooth ride.
Right. Nope, she's just off asleep, and we were kinda like, "Should we wake her up?" Like, we know she wants to see the animals, but thankfully, about halfway through, she, like, popped up. I mean, what it must be like to be in the mind of a child that age, and you fall asleep, and then you wake up and you're on a safari, like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, I that seems so weird, but she just was like, "Oh, wow," and immediately into the animals. Um,
I mean,
so
that's true of most of childhood, right? Where you one minute you're sitting in a restaurant eating lunch, and the next thing you know, you're suddenly magically transported to a theme park, and like, who knows how you got there?
Right? So true. It's so wonderful to be a kid. So yeah, so we they loved that. Definitely if it had been an even shorter ride, I mean shorter wait time, we may have gone again
Mhm.
just because it was they really enjoyed it. But we were thinking about going to Rafiki's Island,
Mhm.
so that the girls could, explore over there, and they love to play vet at home. So
Uh-huh.
we were thinking maybe they get to see, something happening in the vet there. But it was starting to get later in the day, and we were like, I think we're going to be pushing our limits here because, you've got the train ride out there, the train ride back.
Right.
Although they would love the train, they love trains. I just wasn't feeling like we were like, I don't think so.
Mhm.
So we decided to meet Mickey and Minnie closer to the
Mhm.
front. That was awesome. Then Eddie's Magic Band had stopped charging. And this was a
Okay.
new band. We had just bought this trip, so it was only a few days old.
Mhm.
We had chatted with customer service like the night before, and they had said, hey, just go to any customer
Mhm.
service when you're in the parks next and see what they can do. So
Mhm.
they immediately just wrote him a little voucher that he
Mhm.
could take into any store, pick out any Magic Band, and it was free. So
Nice.
the wonderful Disney customer service.
Mhm. Yes.
Um, then we left, but as we were, like, out there, we saw a couple more photo passes we wanted to do, including
Mhm.
Chip and Dale were out
Mhm.
there, so that was fun. And then the little Joffrey stand, I was like, "The girls probably need a little pick-me-up." I saw the giant donuts, and my
Yeah.
girls love donuts, so I was like, "Okay, we're getting 2 big donuts." Um, and then we tried walking back to the car rather than taking the tram,
Uh-huh.
and we were like, this is it for us. We loved walking versus
Mhm.
taking the tram because there's no folding stroller, there's no getting girls in and out. Of
Yeah.
course, they may have preferred to take the tram because it's another ride in their mind, but we were definitely like, we're going to try
It's
to
much
walk.
easier.
We're going to
Yeah.
try to walk anytime we can. We do that at Busch Gardens here. We don't take the tram, we use their walking paths. And
Mhm.
I don't know why it didn't dawn on us to do it before.
Mhm. So did you do anything else this day?
No, this was another eat in the room, cook something, or eat leftovers from something else we cooked kind of day.
Okay. So Thursday, February 5th was an Epcot day. And I noted that you were especially eager for them to maybe meet some princesses and also to visit the Seas Pavilion.
Yes, and big change here. We decided to go to Magic Kingdom.
Wow. Okay. Pivot. All right.
So we were going to go to Magic Kingdom again on Saturday, our last day before our
Right.
travel day. But we started thinking through a lot of things, and my parents had actually decided, you had actually given us the idea that on the first day that they went, if they decided they wanted to experience more of the magic, that they might be able to upgrade their tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we talked to them about that day, and they did decide they wanted to do one more park day.
Fantastic.
Um,
Okay.
but their tickets could only be extended by like 4 days or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so the last day that they could go would be on a Thursday.
Okay.
And they
All right.
were originally going to go with us to Epcot, but then literally like the night before, I was like, no, let's go back to Magic Kingdom because we didn't get many good photos like of the 6 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like there's so much more to do, I think, like as a whole, group of us
Right.
at
Mm-hmm.
Magic Kingdom versus Epcot. And they were up for whatever. They were like, wherever you want to go, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
The only tricky part was I had booked lightning lanes for Magic Kingdom for Saturday,
Okay.
which I originally had not been sure, decided to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
booked him like, I think I had booked him on like Wednesday for Saturday. I mean, so I was already behind as far as like, trying to get the best ones, but I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
really just need to get like the kids
Anything.
rides, little,
Right.
little rides that are not too bad of a wait, but if we can shorten it, that's awesome, especially on a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Disney customer service, so amazing. I messaged in the app and said, hey, we're going to switch our day to Thursday, tomorrow. Is there any way we can move our lightning lanes over? And then,
Mm-hmm.
I still need to buy 2 more people because we weren't expecting my parents to go. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, they easily moved our lightning lanes to Thursday. But in order to get us kind of all on the same booking schedule, I did have to delete, the not delete, like I had to cancel, like they couldn't give me the exact times and exact rides I had booked for Saturday
Okay. All
on
right.
Thursday. And then even if I could keep some similar ones, then my parents weren't going to be on the same. I couldn't book all
Mhm.
6 of us at once for
Okay.
each thing. So
Okay.
we just like wiped it out, started again, which was fine. I mean, again, we weren't like high prioritizing,
Mhm.
anything specifically. So that was totally fine. We also decided, oh, well, we need to do our capture your moment
Uh-huh.
today and not Saturday. So there was plenty available. So
Mhm.
we booked one for that. I think it was around 11ish. So we basically went over there, got into the park, went
Mhm.
straight to check in, because it's kind of by the Hall of Presidents now where you check in for
Mhm.
Capture Your Moment. Um, Went out. We did do very classic, like in front of the castle
Mhm.
photos. Then he did take us sort of like behind the castle as well. And then he had asked if there was any other spots, and I said, "Well, Eloise loves Ariel," so he took us over to that area and got a few
Mhm.
photos there too. So they were really awesome. I would say overall, we loved our Animal Kingdom shoot more. It was just more
Mhm.
relaxed and fun and kind of easier to get the girls into it. But
Yeah.
it was still, priceless photos of, them dressed
Yeah.
as Minnie Mouse in front of the castle.
Oh, sweet. Where did you go from there?
So then we did start using lightning lanes. We actually had one at the same time. Our first one of the day was at the same time, basically, as the capture a moment. So I took
Mhm.
everyone's cards and bands and went and just had tapped in. That was for It's a Small World. So I just went and tapped in, and there's 2 taps at that ride, which I wasn't aware that 2 taps even existed.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
so thankfully the cast member told me, because I told him, I was like, we're just tapping and running away. He's like, you're not riding at all? And I'm like, no, we can't. Like, we have a photo shoot. And he was like, okay, then you got to go in and tap again. Just take out everybody's bands. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
thank you for telling me. I did not realize. So that was really quick. We went, did the photo shoot. So afterwards, our next lightning lane we had was Dumbo. So
Mhm.
we did that. Then we also had Barnstormer. Eloise rides a small coaster here at Busch Gardens, and so I thought she would be
Mhm.
into Barnstormer. She ended up getting in line and then was not feeling it. So,
Mhm.
her and my mom had gotten in line, but then they came back out. So Eddie and I ended up riding, and my dad ended up riding, and it was so funny. I guess they want to get as many people on as possible. So my dad got like a spare grandson sat with him. And yeah, we all enjoyed it. That was my first time on the Barnstormer, actually, so it was
Mhm.
it was fun. A little roller coaster for the day.
Yep. Real short, but cute.
Yes, yes, it is really short. So after that, we decided we needed to do the carousel again, because that was still in Eloise's like top of mind of
Mhm.
the joy of Magic Kingdom, was riding the carousel with Nana. So that was a quick wait, and then we decided we wanted to eat. And this may have been reversed. We may have ate and then did the carousel and then eating, but again, it was a little cold this day, so we're looking for indoor seating, somewhere that
Mhm.
has fries. So we're like, let's just do Starlight Cafe. We entered in like the smaller side where Sunny is.
Eclipse. Yeah. Mhm.
It smelled really odd on that
Ooh.
side. It was like a bowling alley.
Okay. I mean, I can feel that. Yeah. I hardly ever go in there just because I feel like
There's plenty of
there's
other
other choices
places.
that I would like
Yes.
better. Although I will say, like, Magic Kingdom isn't the best
Food.
place to get food in general. It's
Yes.
just not. But so did you end
Exactly.
up sticking around? Or was the
Well,
smell enough to turn you away?
we walked in and Eddie was like, it kind of smells funny in here. And I'm like, Yeah, kind of does, but it was also packed. But I was like, I think there's like another side of this. So we went out, went back in like through the main way where there's like a lot more seating and it didn't smell on that side. So we decided to stay, mobile ordered. It is a great challenge to park a double stroller inside of that restaurant. We should have left the stroller outside. But it is kind of a big restaurant as well to be just like bringing little kids around. So we did manage to get the stroller back into a corner. And it was another situation where there's like no tables. So we're kind of waiting on people to leave and whatnot. Um, but, we did get a table. We all sat, we all ate, felt, rejuvenated. And we're able to go on. Um, and the next thing we decided to do was meet Pooh and Tigger. Our girls have never seen like any Pooh movies or anything, but they love Doc McStuffins. And there's a crossover episode of Doc and Winnie the Pooh. So they knew of Pooh from that
Interesting.
episode.
Did
My
not know about
parents
that.
decided it was getting too cold for like the jackets and stuff they had worn, so they decided to leave like while we were waiting for Pooh and Tigger.
Mhm.
The girls loved meeting Pooh and Tigger. They gave them a little note. I think some of the favorite characters they actually met again because of that Doc episode, and even a cast
Mhm.
member was like, wow, that's quite the crossover. I've never seen that episode. I was like, yeah, go watch it.
Mhm.
So we did successfully then leave midday in order to
Mhm.
come back that night for the parade.
Okay. So I presume that when you left midday, all you really did was nap and chill and
Yes, the
prepare to come
girls
back.
slept in the car. So Eddie stayed in the car and I went back into the super Target and and walked down in that same shopping center there's like TJ Maxx and a Dollar Tree and stuff. So I just kind of quickly walked through there to get them a nap
Mhm.
in and kind of see if there was anything different or special. No, I didn't
Mhm.
really find much, but um we after that, we did go home. Girls were
Mhm.
woken up. We ate something there at the resort, and then we headed back with my parents for the nighttime. We got
Mhm.
back around 5:30, I think, but it was getting really cold because now it's dark and windy
Mhm.
and chilly. We did have more lightning lanes booked, so Eddie and I went on Space Mountain, and my parents were kind to just watch the girls and
Mhm.
keep them warm. Then we all went on Peter Pan and
Mhm.
It's a Small World. The girls loved It's a Small World. They wanted to
Good.
do it again, but it was really close to the parade starting. So we went over to the kind of the Liberty Square turning into Frontierland area and found a
Mhm.
really, easy spot. It wasn't super packed this night. So it
Mhm.
wasn't, you weren't fighting for a spot, but we found a good spot. My parents decided that they had had enough of the cold, and were headed out while we waited for the parade to come. They wanted
Mhm.
me to say that their podcast tip is that as they were leaving, they were walking through like the Emporium, that side,
Mhm.
and then they got over to like the barber shop area, and the cast members said like, oh, like you can't cross right now, the parade's about to start. And there is apparently the beginning of the parade. It's reverse of the daytime parade, which I didn't realize.
Mhm.
So they're like, we saw the whole thing right from the beginning, and there was no
Mhm.
one standing there. So they said that's a good tip.
Mhm.
If you want to see the parade and then have a quick getaway, if you're there at the beginning, they got to see everything, and then they like quickly ran out of the park, and they were like the first people on the monorail, I think, back.
Yeah.
The girls loved the parade. I will say, I don't know why so different, but it was so loud for little
Mm.
kids compared to the daytime parade.
Okay.
Um, I had not remembered to bring in their like earmuffs, like their noise
Mhm.
headphones, and I really wished I had, because I mean it was loud even to me, like kind of like almost painfully loud at times.
Hmm.
Um, I think we did have maybe one of the headphones, but we didn't have the other one. The girls were fine, but I think it could have been more enjoyable for them if, and I would have felt safer about their hearing if
Mhm.
we'd have had those. So just something to know for other parents with like little ones whose ears might be a little more sensitive.
Mhm.
But beautiful parade. I saw the nighttime parade like 10 years ago, and
Mhm.
so happy that it's back, and
Yeah,
that it
me
could
too.
happen, even in the cold. They had their like winter outfits on.
Oh, well, I'm also glad that that parade is back, and I do think it's such a nice blend of like nostalgia for what the old parade was and like newness and having
Yeah.
some of the new characters and celebrating those stories as well. So I really, really love that we have that back. What time did you end up getting back to your resort after all of this?
So we were like, let's do some more rides after this parade.
Wow, look at you.
I know. Well, the girls really wanted to ride something else. And so we were like, okay, we can probably only do one more thing, because I mean, Magic Kingdom closes at 9 this
Mhm.
night. So there's not a whole lot of time after the parade. But we had not been able to get on the Pooh ride because it had been a long wait. So we
Mhm.
waited in line for that. It was still like a good 20 plus minute wait, even like right
Mhm.
after the parade. But we got on there. They did enjoy that. And then we were like, do we stay for fireworks now? We're like within like minutes of like, do we
Mhm.
stay or not? And then we're like, no, no. Eddie was like, I really don't think we should. And I was like, I think you're right. Like, I think we're gonna regret it afterwards when there's like the mad dash to the monorail.
Mhm.
So we got on the monorail. We could see a little bit on the monorail of the fireworks, which was cool. And then when we
Mhm.
got to the TTC parking lot, like we decided again to walk, not tram, like from the
Mhm.
monorail to the actual parking lot. And as we started to walk, we turned around and you could see the fireworks beautifully. Like, obviously, you're
Mhm.
not seeing the castle and you're not seeing projections and music and all that. But for the
Mhm.
girls, they had never seen fireworks before.
Oh,
So
okay.
this was perfect for them. Elena kept saying, another one, another one.
Oh.
So we watched for a while there, then started walking back to our car.
Mhm.
Watched a little bit more from the actual like lot we were parked in, and
Mhm.
then we headed back. So I think we probably got back to the room around like 9:30, 9:45.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. Well, something to do another time for sure if you didn't
Yes.
get to it on another day of this trip, but also probably if you didn't have their noise headphones with you, probably better to do it
Yes.
with those in hand just in case if they're not used to fireworks.
Yes.
All right. So Friday, February 6th was another rest day for you, and you had plans for lunch at Sanaa. I'm guessing that maybe you had a very slow morning considering how late the girls were out the night before. So tell me about this day.
Yes. So here we kind of changed our mind again. We ended up deciding it was still going to be a rest day, but we weren't going to do Sanaa and the Animal Kingdom, at least not in the morning. So we had canceled our
Okay.
reservation in time, like the day before, so we didn't have like a charge for canceling.
Uh huh.
Um, but we're like, let's just do Disney Springs this morning. And
Mm-hmm.
then we were thinking about doing some kind of playground at one of the resorts in the
Mm-hmm.
afternoon. It was We thought it was going to be a lot warmer this day when we like left, but after we got there and got through security, we were like, it is freezing. Eddie had not brought his jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Um we had brought again, like sweatshirts and jackets for the girls, but it was just getting like we were feeling like, wow, my parents were going to meet us there. So we called them
Mhm.
and we're like, "Have you left yet?" They're like, "We barely left." And I was like, "Can you please go back and get like blankets for the girls and
Mhm.
like warmer things?" So they did. They brought us that, but then they decided they were tired of the cold, so they were going to go try to find some indoor shopping.
Mhm.
Um, so we were glad to have those extra provisions they brought us. Um, we went to a couple stores, then decided to go eat some lunch. We just did Blaze Pizza because the girls like pizza and it's
Mhm.
easy. Didn't have to worry about a crowd or anything like that. Elena ended up falling asleep. So she slept through the whole lunch. So we just packed up her some pizza, and when she woke up, she ate it.
Mhm.
Um, we went to the Lego store, but Eddie just went in. He's the big Lego fan. I think they're
Mhm.
cute, but drives me insane to try to build one of those sets. So he went in and I stayed out with the girls. By this time, Elena was awake, but Eloise was asleep in the stroller. So he went in, built some minifigs like to represent our family.
Mhm.
Um, and then when he got out, we did the Christmas store and a couple other stores, and then eventually we went into World of Disney. Eloise was still asleep. We were trying to hold out so that
Mhm.
she could really experience, the giant Disney store,
Mhm.
but she was still asleep. We finally woke her up, like, because we were
Mhm.
like ready to leave the store and she was still asleep. But she did wake up and see it. We got a few things, not crazy, but we got kind of what we wanted. And
Mhm.
then we decided to take a recommendation and get some cookies from Summer House on the Lake.
Oh, yes. What flavors did you pick?
So me and the girls like both had the M&M and then the sprinkle, or I think they call it birthday cake, but it's like
Mhm.
the sugar with the sprinkle. Eddie tried is it apple oatmeal?
Yes. Mhm.
Um, and then my mom had the lemon. We like took cookies to them. She had lemon, and my dad, I think, had salted chocolate chip.
Mhm.
I think everybody liked them. I really liked the sprinkle one. Like the more I ate it, the more I liked it. The
Mhm.
girls really loved their M&M one. That was the one that they hung on to. I just loved that there was no line, like really, to get these
Right.
beautiful cookies. We
Mhm.
passed the Gideon's line. I mean, I have never had a Gideon's cookie, so I can't say, but I was like waiting in line to get the
Uh-huh.
cookies, like this queue outside the building. I was like, I
You
can't.
have to try them eventually. Like, they're worth trying, I think, even just to go inside and to see the theming of the place. I mean, it's very small. There's no place to sit or anything. You literally just go through and get your cookies and whatever. Um, and they definitely have amazing cold brew there. Um,
Okay.
make sure you go do it. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think the Summer House on the Lake cookies are better. And I think part of it is just that to me, the texture of a Summer House on the Lake cookie is more like what I would consider to be homemade tasting,
Mm.
whereas the Gideon's cookies are very dense. Like they are big, like thick. It doesn't even seem like a cookie to me. It's more like the size of a scone.
Oh wow.
And so I prefer the Summer House on the Lake cookies, and I like all the flavors that they have to choose from, and just the texture is just really where it's at for me.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed them. Like Eddie said it was a little too crispy for his taste. Like he prefers like the softer cookie. Um
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely think it's worth going and just seeing all those cookies lined up was like,
Mhm.
oh wow, look at that. But after that, we decided to head back. Originally, we were thinking of maybe going to Animal Kingdom because we had looked up that they had not Animal Kingdom, sorry, Animal Kingdom Lodge, because
Mhm.
we had looked up that they had a nice playground and that you could actually see some animals and whatever. But we were like, no, we just need to head back and chill out. So that's what we
Mhm.
did. And again, some kind of dinner in the room. Obviously, nothing remarkable because I don't remember.
That's totally fine. I mean, that it's amazing to be staying in a place where you have access to a full kitchen and
Yes.
where you have a washer dryer. Obviously, that's a
Oh,
game
yes.
changer.
Loved that part.
Uh, all right, so that brings us to Saturday, February 7th, which was supposed to be a Magic Kingdom day. Did you go back for a third Magic Kingdom day?
No, we decided to do Epcot.
Okay.
Um, I, you know, I don't know. If looking back, I almost wish we had done Animal Kingdom on this day
Mm-hmm.
because this was our only weekend day in a park.
Mm.
It was vastly different crowd wise. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
significantly busier. It's also Festival of the Arts. I'm not sure how much that impacts the
I think
crowds.
it does because I think a weekend with a festival going on, you get a lot more locals that come.
It was crazy, like the difference between, all our other days in the parks versus this day.
Mm-hmm.
We were like looking at the lines for the food booths, that are festival specific, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, people are waiting this long. It's probably really not that long, but when you have like a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old with you, you're like anything more than like walk up is, is a long wait for food.
Right.
Um, but we did not have lightning lanes or anything.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing we did, Eloise really wanted a ride. So we did Nemo ride at the
Mm-hmm.
seas. That was really wonderful. They really enjoyed it. They enjoyed looking around all the aquarium there. It's so
Mm-hmm.
cool how they have like the areas where kids can actually like stand or sit to get a better view. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we spent a lot of time there. um, I did lose my magic band on the ride, and I didn't realize that
Oh
I
my.
lost it on the ride. Like, I just suddenly, like, looked down while we were still in the seas, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, my magic band's gone." I'd been having trouble with it popping off, and I had a little, like, one of those little magic keeper things, not it was an Amazon brand. Um,
Listen, I have plenty of Amazon branded ones, and there's nothing wrong with those. It
okay.
it's about where you've placed it. So
Yeah, I think
I only say that to say, like, if you're planning on getting one of those from Amazon, like, you don't have to get a super expensive thing to make it work. You just have to make sure that when you put it on, you're putting it on
in
kind of
the
like at the
right
right place where
spot.
it's like overlapped already, and then
Yes.
put it on there. Yeah.
I think it was on at the time, it was on the wrist that I carry the girls on, like the side of my
Mm,
body, and I think it just too much, like
jostling. Yeah.
pulling on it and whatever. And apparently we looked around the seas because we are like, oh, it must have just fallen on the floor. Finally, Eddie thought to ask a cast member, and they directed him to the ride, like exit, and a lady
Hmm.
went back and was like, "Here it is," and I was
Oh
like,
my word.
I
Okay.
was
A
like,
happy ending.
"Wow, that's amazing!" Yeah, I thought it's
It's
gone,
gone.
like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
was like, "It's the last day. It's not a big deal. Like, we're not staying on property, so it's not like my key." I mean, you can always use your
Right.
phone, but it just didn't
Right.
feel as pressuring.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great to get it back. Um, and then we went over to the Encanto show. My
Mhm.
girls love they've never seen the full movie, but they've seen like music videos, especially of the
Mhm.
Family Madrigal song.
Mhm.
So this was a really fun show. It was the only day that was kind of hot was
Uh-huh.
this day. So we did start actually getting a like little burning hot, like watching the show outside.
Mhm.
But the girls really enjoyed it. They were eating their lunch while watching it. They had a lot of interactive parts for kids, and it wasn't like
Mhm.
just two hand selected kids. I mean, there was a part like that, but there
Right.
was a lot of like, all the kids can come up. But my
Uh-huh.
girls were mostly eating. So they did not really participate, but they were super excited to see Mirabelle and Bruno.
Mhm.
Um, and then we worked our way back to France because I saw that Aurora was doing
Mhm.
visits, and that's Eloise's like other favorite princess.
Mhm.
So we waited in line for her. And this is where again I was like seeing the difference. Like it was kind of a long wait
Mhm.
to meet her, but we did get in before she had to go check on things. And then we were going to just grab something in one of the countries to eat for lunch. We weren't really sure exactly what or where. We definitely decided we weren't stopping at the booths. um,
Mhm.
I was getting really hungry, and so I was like, we've got to figure out something. I didn't realize that there's not that much mobile ordering in Epcot.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh boy, like what are we, we got to figure out something. So we got to China and we were like, okay, let's just eat here. Um, Eloise and I waited in line while Eddie and Elena was asleep. Went
Mhm.
to find somewhere to sit. They eventually found like a table. I would say we waited in line probably 25 minutes.
Ooh,
Um,
yikes. Okay.
so yeah, it was a long wait. Like the line, I can't remember the
Especially
name,
for China, like, that's not usually
and
up
they
to.
were moving. I mean,
Huh.
not any, not any negativity towards the staff, but it was
Right.
just
It was
so
just
many
crowds.
people.
Mhm.
The food was good. We both had like some version of lo mein, and it was good to kind of have our Asian food. We eat Asian food many times a week, so it was kind of good to have our like a
Your
comfort
staples.
food. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then our big our big goal was to ride Grand Fiesta Tour.
Oh, okay.
So we we headed over there. We went inside, and there's a woman holding a stick that says, Grand Fiesta Tour line starts here. And
Ooh.
I was like, what? I
Okay, normally the person holding the sign is for La Cava del Tequila, not for Grand Fiesta Tour.
I was like, again, this was like another wake up call of like how busy it was. I was like,
Yeah.
I've never, I haven't been that many times, but
Mhm.
I've never seen the line like queuing out of the queue. And this was
Mhm.
back into the entrance of the temple, like as soon as you
Wow.
walk in.
Yeah.
A little bit, a lot exactly as soon as you walked in, but a little bit of ways you were waiting,
Mhm.
but it did go really, really fast. And they
Okay.
had extra queues like set up like in front of the part where the restaurant is, so
Mhm.
it went really fast. But at first I was like, oh my gosh, how long is this? I'm like, we can't come back to this, like,
Right.
so
It's
we
now or
rode.
never.
Right. We rode. The girls loved it. Said, "Can we do it again? Can we do it again?" I was
Ugh.
like, yeah, yeah." We're like, "Yeah, this is the last day, like let's just do it
Mhm.
again." So thankfully the line had backed up to around that restaurant queuing
Mhm.
area. So it was only about maybe a 10-minute wait to get back on.
Okay.
Um so we went back on. Elena wanted to do it a third time. She was like, I
Oh,
want to do
wow.
it again. But it was getting like we were kind of running on fumes at
Mhm.
this part of the day. It was actually a little bit hot this day, lots of crowds. So we were like, no, I think we're gonna move on.
Mhm.
Um, so we did. Oh, I forgot. Before this, we actually stopped and met Anna and Elsa. Um,
Okay.
and that was really great. Not too long of a wait. Um, very sweet. The girls also have never seen the whole movie, but they've watched
Mhm.
the shorts, and so they were very excited to meet those girls. Um, so then the Grand Fiesta Tour. I attempted to go in a shop, the Connections shop up at the front. Not is that no? Is that right?
Creation shop.
Creations. Thank you.
Yes. I know everything is named so similarly, but it's Creation Shop,
Connections
Connections
Cafe.
Eatery, and Connections Cafe, I
Okay.
think.
I I also looked in, I think that one, because they had like the Starbucks in there, and I was like, I really
Right.
need some coffee. But the line, I was like, no, I'm not waiting in this line. So I looked around the shop. One of our photos with Anna and Elsa, like it didn't sync. They have the automatic cameras in
Mhm.
there, but it hadn't worked. Like the cast member pointed out to us that something had glitched, and so we would need to get that photo for Elsa from the front. But the photos for Anna we got right then.
Okay.
So Eddie went to get that figured out while I was shopping. The girls were starting to lose it. They
Oh,
were
no.
tantruming. Um, everywhere in the shop, and I was like, okay, we just got to get out of here. We did end up getting something in the smaller shop there and going back into the bigger one because they had kind of calmed down once Eddie met back up with
Mhm.
us. Um, but we pretty quickly decided, okay, it's time to go.
Uh-huh.
So on the way back, we stumbled upon the giant McDonald's.
Uh-huh.
And I am not a McDonald's person, but I was like, it's here. The girls were starving. So we just did the drive
Mhm.
through for them. And instead of coffee, I got Coke. And we moved on. So when we got home, um, back to the resort, we were just packing.
Mhm.
Um, and trying to figure out what we would do with any leftover grocery items.
Okay. What did you end up doing with leftover
So
stuff?
we really wanted to just leave it for the staff because I was like, there's a ton of staff who work here. A lot of things were unopened.
Mhm.
But they have a texting system there. There's no phone number. You
Okay.
text them the whole time you're there. And they
Mhm.
said they're not allowed to accept food. So we were like,
Okay.
ooh,
Makes
okay.
sense. If you're ever staying on property, um, and you're staying in a place where you might have access to a small kitchen or whatever, like maybe over at Art of Animation in one
Yeah.
of the suites, or in like All Star Music, or in one of their family suites, or in a DVC property, and you happen to buy groceries and you have leftovers, there are plenty of Disney groups on like Facebook where you can
Yes.
put in and say, I like groups that are specifically for leftover foods and stuff, or things you want to pass along. Like some people will buy like an umbrella stroller just for their trip, and they don't want to take it home with them, and they're like, I have an umbrella stroller. We only used it this week. If you want to come by and get it, I'm at this resort. Just first
Yeah.
person to message me, and then you connect, and then whatever. And I've done that multiple times, and it's nice because, especially given how much groceries cost these days,
Yes.
it's like you've already paid for it. I like might as well maybe make somebody else's vacation a little bit easier. And if you have unopened things, it's nice to be able to pass them along and not waste the food. So
Yeah.
um, I would recommend that, and I'm guessing that there's probably something similar for a lot of bigger resorts, so maybe there
Yeah.
was something like that, where, like, you know, guest to guest, you could figure it out without having
Yeah.
to involve staff, but just for the
Yeah.
future.
What we ended up doing was any packaged stuff, we just put as much as we could in our luggage.
Mhm.
My mom and dad ended up having like a little extra room in their luggage, so they put a ton of like, pirates booty and fig bars and things like that
Mhm.
that we had gotten. Definitely won't buy the Sam's Club size next time. At home, like I
Uh-huh.
feel like our girls would have eaten way more, but it's just different. Everything's different on
Right.
vacation.
Sure.
Um, Other items that, like, obviously you can't take in your luggage or would be too heavy, the resort did say, like, we didn't need to clean out anything to exit,
Mhm.
like, you could leave everything in the fridge and stuff, so we ended up leaving the things there,
Mhm.
in hopes that maybe the staff do, you know,
Just take it.
take
Yeah.
things. Maybe it's a policy they can't accept it, so they don't have like mountains and mountains of people's food trash.
Right.
But maybe if they come across an unopened can of Spaghettios, they
Right.
take it with them. I hope.
Right.
So yeah, next time definitely trying to figure I will if we stay there again, try to figure out if there is like a Facebook group or where the
Mhm.
nearest food bank is or things like that. We did
Mhm.
give away some bottled water to some to folks that were like grilling in the
Mhm.
common like grill area, but they
Yeah.
didn't want like our cheese. It was unopened, but um so yeah, so then that just leaves our travel day.
Okay, so that was Sunday, February 8th, and you needed to get to the airport around noon or so. So, how was your return trip day? Did everything go smoothly with your flight being on time, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes. Our flight was on time. We It got delayed like briefly, like very briefly. Like we were like going through security and they emailed us it was delayed and we got through security and it was back on
Mhm.
time. But we had no issue like returning the rental car was super easy. It was really awesome. They had one of these I don't know what the proper term is. It's like an airport attendant.
Mhm.
who was like in that rental car return zone with like a huge dolly like to carry your luggage, and he just like walked up to us and was like, do you need help? And we were like, yeah. And then Eddie and I are like, oh my gosh, does he cost money? Like,
Uh-huh.
like, I don't know. Like, how do you ask? He's already like loading up our luggage on the thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they say never give your luggage to someone you don't know, but we're staying with him. I'm like, it's all locked. Okay. So it's going to be fine. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, cash. Like, I don't even know we have cash. Like, even if it's just a tip. Anyway, turns out he's like with the same company that does like the wheelchair transport. Like, if you ask for a wheelchair and they like pair you with
Oh, okay.
someone.
So he was officially with MCO.
Yes,
Okay.
he was. It's like a contracted company. I forgot to write down what the name was, but yes,
Mhm.
they are actually employed there.
Okay.
And he was so amazing. Like, he got all of our luggage on this one cart, walked us, like helped us figure out where we needed to go, like to get us
Mhm.
to JetBlue, and then Eddie gave him a tip, and then he was gone. Like, I mean, it was like a little
Mhm.
angel. I was like,
Oh,
oh, thank
that's
goodness for
good.
him, because my parents returned their car in a different lot because they were with a
Mhm.
different company, so they weren't there to like help us get in.
Mhm.
Check-in went really fast. JetBlue there. We needed help getting our seats changed. It was really quick. Like, she was like,
Mhm.
I can get you all in the back. I was like, I don't care where we are as long as we're all together. So we all got together in the back row, which was for the best anyway with
Mhm.
kids. Um, we They had the family line in security, which was super cool. I
Oh, okay.
don't
I've
remember
seen the signs for
that.
that, but you're the only person I've ever talked to who's used it so far.
Oh yeah, I was like, family line. Yes, we were doing it. We were like, but can the grandparents come? Because it says
Mhm.
like for people with kids ages 12 and under, and the woman was like, I'll make an exception.
Mhm.
So I don't know if she was kidding or if she really did, but either way, it wasn't a big line anyway that
Mhm.
particular time of day. And I guess Terminal C just doesn't have the number of flights going
Mhm.
in and out as others. So just in general, it seemed like security was less stressful or busy than
Okay.
um, other times. But yeah, so we went through that area of security. It was pretty quick. Eloise did kind of lose it going through this time. I think she was just sort of at the end of her rope, I think, with, the
Mhm.
fun of the week and the tiredness. So
Mhm.
we got through, but she was starting to really kind of tantrum up. So we are like, we need to probably find some food. Love that all the shops and restaurants are after security.
That's the best.
Oh, why doesn't everyone do that? But anyway, um, and it's so
I mean,
beautiful.
to be fair, I think that in most airports I've traveled to, all the food and shopping is after security. It's just MCO in Terminal A and B that has inexplicably decided to put all that before security. It's so weird.
I mean, it was so fun. Like, we went in the Disney store. We saw Eddie went in the Universal store. The girls and I didn't go in, but we saw that too.
Mhm.
You could get more summer house cookies if you want. Like,
Mhm. There's a SeaWorld store.
yes,
There's
we went
yeah.
in there too. I mean, it was like a whole day.
Exactly. There are things to do, and that's what I want in an airport is things to do. Because the last thing I wanna
Yes.
do is just sit at my gate the entire time. Like, I'm gonna be
No.
sitting on the plane for a couple hours. I wanna be walking around looking at things, or at least sitting in a different part of the airport with, like, more interesting things to look at than people sitting there with their luggage waiting to board a plane.
Yes. And they have that little shuttle car
Mhm.
to drive you. I've never seen one of those.
Oh, you have
To
it?
drive you to your gate. I was like, what in the world? And the guy they had driving one of them, he was just singing. I was like, he was on one of those Italian gondolas, like that was how he imagined himself driving that thing to and fro. We didn't take it, but I think next time we would, because the girls would just think it's,
Uh-huh.
hilarious to be on it. But the Starbucks there did mobile order, which I thought
Mhm.
was grand. So yeah, we ate some lunch.
Was it grand or was it grande? Sorry.
I like that one.
Can't help myself.
We did a bunch of things. Then we walked to our gate. We were kind of at the back.
Mhm.
And then boarded with the family boarding,
Mhm.
especially since we were in the back. We were like, oh, at first I was like, oh, we'll wait to get on. And then I was like, my mom was like, no, we probably should get on now because we're dragging all this luggage and children like
Right.
through all the aisles. And I was like, oh, you're right. So we got to the back. Um, no problem there. Arrived, a little
Mhm.
bit early, all that. But the luggage.
Oh gosh.
It did come, like, it wasn't lost, so, like, I will never be mad as long as it arrives.
Mhm.
Um, but it took forever. Like, they didn't even
Mm.
have our gate check stroller at the
Oh wow.
gate. Um, I think Richmond must be doing, like, a needing to do a big hiring push, in the
Uh-huh.
folks that that manage the baggage to and from the planes. Yeah,
Mhm.
everyone with a stroller did not get their stroller, so you were hauling your kids
Wow.
from your gate out to baggage claim. Thankfully, it's not a giant airport. It's not too bad,
Sure, but
but
it's the last thing you wanna be doing after coming back from a vacation like that.
well, and I've had a friend who traveled with just herself with her two kids, and you rely on the stroller.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
So I don't know. I guess in that situation they would have, assigned, somebody to walk with you because it just may not be possible for some people.
Right. Yeah.
But so the stroller ended up coming out on the luggage carousel, but we
Mhm.
waited at least 30, if not more, minutes
Mm.
for the luggage to come, and they had at one point 4 incoming flights on one carousel.
Oh,
Um
what a mess.
so it was just like you could tell they were struggling.
Mhm.
But we did get all of our luggage. We got our car
Mhm.
seats, we got the stroller, everything was there. So,
Mhm.
it worked out. But thankfully, my grandparents had been like our transport to and from.
Mhm.
So we had extra hands, and eyes to kind of like extra, extra with my parents and my grandparents to watch the girls. Cause of course they're like,
Mhm.
why are we sitting here?
Yeah.
We're ready to go home. But we're like, we can't even like leave somebody here for the luggage and go because we don't have the car seats.
Right.
So, it all worked out. Can't complain about anything like after a Disney
Mhm.
vacation. I feel like we got home, we thought we were going to make something at home, and we ended up going to get Chinese food because we were just like, no, it's been a long day.
Let's make it easy. Yeah. Well, it now both of your girls are experienced travelers, so
Yes.
that's exciting because this opens up, I think, a world of possibilities for you in terms of like considering places you might go that do involve a flight.
Yeah.
Um, when are you going to be heading back to a Disney property? Is it
Oh.
going to be soon, or are you planning, wait a certain number of years? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think realistically it'll probably be about 3 years.
Okay.
As much as we would love to go like at least every year, I don't know. Figuring out how to work that, especially with how we want, we would like to fly, we would like to have
Mhm.
a rental car, would like to have a place that has a kitchen for these
Yeah.
sort of ages. I think once they're a little older, a lot of those things could change, and make
Mhm.
it like more financially, easier.
Mhm.
But I definitely think 3 years would kind of be the max I would want to do just because I'm very aware of their
Mhm.
ages, and the magic changes so quickly for them at that
Right.
those ages. So in 3 years time Eloise will be like turning 6, and
Mhm.
um Elena would be turning 4.5. So yeah, I think that would be the max, but we're seeing. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
what can I do to save a little more Disney money?
Yeah. And I mean, if they're still into princesses at that age, those would be 2 perfect ages to do some bibbidi bobbidi boutique fun.
Oh my gosh,
So,
you're right.
yeah. Yeah. So I say, is it if those are your priorities, making sure that you're able to do the rental car, making sure you're able to stay in a place that has a full kitchen, that sort of thing. Take a couple of years, save up so you can do it your way.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
wow. This has been so much fun chatting with you about Disney here. I always love a good Disney conversation, but this has been a really good time. And I hope that you've had just as much fun talking to me as I have with you.
Yes, I have, Virginia. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for joining me on the podcast. You were such a delight to talk to, and I hope that you will come back in a few years the next time you and your family hit up the parks. That is all for today. Please make sure that you have left a rating or a review on the podcast platform you are listening on now. You can also leave a review or send me a direct message through my website, which is whereilongtobepodcast.com. I would love to hear from you. Have a magical week, everyone, and please don't forget to keep daydreaming about where you long to be.